Welcome to Grace Embassy, the place of grace, where destinies are discovered and achieved.
Now look at it. What the devil does is this: he will introduce a particular culture to a generation. When that culture is accepted, it becomes part of the generation. So whatever the devil introduces and is accepted, it becomes part of the generation. So they start passing it from generation to generation. Are you guys following what I'm saying now? So that means the certain things that happen in past generation is because those people accepted it, and that is why it's passed on to the next generation. So the culture of those people has passed to the next generation. The culture of these people has passed to the next generation. So you will think that, okay, it is our forefathers that started it. You don't know that it was introduced to them by the devil, and they accepted it, and now generations are suffering from it. So if there's certain things going on in your life or in the family, you check your pattern, you check the generation behind you before, you discover that you can see that same line working with it. It was the introduction of the devil to the past generation, and they accepted it, and he projected it to the next generation. So the devil uses culture to determine the kind of bondage he chooses for each generation. Okay. If somebody asks you now, what do you understand by curse? What will you say? Now, let's run. I said, curse can be defined as the use of powerful words, just like the way this guy said, as the use of powerful words to invoke supernatural harm. To invoke supernatural harm. I said, curse can be human or divine, oral or written, personal or collective. Some curses are binding, whereas others are conditional. In Proverbs chapter 26 verse 2, look at what it said. The TPT, Proverbs 26 verse 2, the Passion Translation. What did it say? Guys, look at it. Okay, some people are not saying it. Is the screen not big enough? An undeserved curse will be powerless to harm you. It may be floating over you like a bird, but it will find no place to land. An undeserved curse. So if there is an undeserved curse, that means there is a deserved curse. Okay. Numbers chapter 23 verse 8, the King James Version. Numbers 23 verse 8. Look at what they say. How shall I curse whom God has not cursed? And how shall I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced? So that means the word curse exists. That's to tell you that people are subjected in that same existence. But every child of God cannot be cursed. Why? Because it's not deserving. No child of God deserves to be cursed. No child of God. But if you start acting strangely, the way Mrs. Abimbola told us, that when you start acting strangely, even as a child of God, they will be wondering what is going on with you. It's like something is wrong with this person. In Genesis chapter 8 verse 20 to 21, Genesis chapter 8 verse 21. Abby, did I give you that? Okay, I did that. Yes. Genesis chapter 8 verse 21, the New King James Version. You all know that God cursed the ground, is it not so? Now, do you know that God reversed the curse? He reversed the curse. Now that's to tell you that when God smells the sacrifice, he changes or he reverses the curse. Now what did he say in Genesis chapter 8 verse 21? You there? The New King James Version. He said, and the Lord smelled a softening aroma, and then the Lord said in his heart, I will never again curse the ground for man's sake. Did you see that now? He changed it. Although the imagination of the man's heart is evil from his youth, nor will I again destroy every living thing as I have done. God reversed all the curses in the Old Testament. First of all, the one from the ground, God reversed it. Do you know that God reversed the generational curses too? Because in the Bible said the punishment or the sin of the fathers will do what? We go toward the children. It's not so. Okay, let's go there. Where do we find that? Oh, before we go to that place, let me go to Micah chapter 5 verse 12. I will put an end to all witchcraft, and there will be no more fortune tellers. Did you see that now? That means God had to put a halt to anyone pronouncing curses. So that means as a child of God, the moment you're a child of God, you cannot be cursed. No human being is born of a woman, except that it's the spirit that gave birth to the person. No human being born of a woman that can curse you. You guys are looking at me strange. So no man is under curse except there is a pronouncement not done by God, but by man using spiritual means to gain access into the life of the person. No man is under curse except someone use spiritual means to gain access into the spirit of the person. And that's why Micah said, I will destroy witches, because those who use some spiritual medium to gain access into the life of people and change their life. So friends, let me put it to you, none of you is under curse. None of you can be cursed. None of you should act strangely like someone who is cursed. No, you cannot. Generational curse, no. You know why? Because God dealt with that before you got born again. None of you can be cursed. So, as a child of God, why is it that there are some negative things that still goes on in our life? No. Those negative things that is happening in your life doesn't mean you are cursed. Those negative things that is happening in your life doesn't mean you are cursed. They just mean that there are patterns that have been generated from generation to generation that makes it impossible to wipe out except you deliberately take action on it. A pattern is anything proposed for imitation. But if a pattern is anything imitate or proposed for imitation, you guys know what it means by imitation? Okay. A pattern is anything proposed for imitation. Now watch this. Why is it that this thing that is proposed for imitation, most of them are negative imitation? They are what? Negative imitation. Do you know that if somebody want to follow the trace of their dad or their mom, it's the bad thing that their dad and their mom did that they will replicate? One can't tell children you will see trace of the bad thing from their parents in them until they themselves choose not to do it. Now watch this. The reason why is because every negative pattern is controlled by demonic influence. Now, I told you that whatever God did with you is still in you. But the evil thing that is happening is the introduction of the devil. Now, sometimes if you sit down and think, you will look at yourself, why am I behaving this way? Why am I doing this kind of thing? Then if you follow the trace, you discover that it is part of either your dad, your mom, or in the family line. Now, the reason why it's more effective is because it's being controlled by demonic influences. It is not because you are the one controlling it. The only way that it will not be effective is when you deliberately decide to pull yourself out of it. I don't know if you guys are catching what I'm saying. Sometimes somebody will come up. Well, there was a time when my dad was still alive. My younger brother was misbehaving, and then my dad called me and said, hey, talk to your brother, talk to your brother. Hey, I'm going to deal with your brother. I said, he's my brother, but he's not my son. I said, it's my brother. He doesn't take after me. He took after you. So whatever he's doing, it is you. Every children or every child from any family has two traits in them, their dad and their mom in them. It all depends on which one is dominant, either the dad's own or the mom's own. This guy is behaving like his dad, this guy is behaving like his mom, or this person is behaving. It all depends on the one that is dominant. There are people who did not choose it because they lack knowledge of what is happening. Now, the moment demonic entity decide to be involved in the pattern, it becomes evil pattern. And if you check here, you see evil patterns are a series of negative events that serve as a model for other negative events. So you see what evil patterns does? They are a series of negative events. Now, so with that, it gives you, it comes with is either the attitude, the lifestyle, or the destiny is contrary to what's supposed to be the life of the person. Do you know that many parents are so scared of their children? Why? Because of the mistake they made. They are scared that that same mistake will not replicate in their children's life. Parents, you guys understand what I'm saying now? Because when you start seeing the certain age you were when certain things happen, you start seeing your child behaving that way, your mind is, is he going to do what I did before? Now, sometimes it gives concern to parents that, why is this child not doing the good part of my own life? Is it the mistake that I made or the wrong thing I did that this child decided to know this is what you want to do? Most children are like that. Because one, the control is not in their senses and knowledge yet. The control comes to their senses and knowledge when they decide to know or when they know about it. Isaac did not have that control. Even when he knows that his father did that same thing, that during the time he went to Egypt, to Gerar, he said that his wife is his sister. Now, if you see the repetition, there was famine in the time of Abraham. There's still famine in the time of Isaac. And that famine is making them to choose a particular pattern on how to get out of it. God had to stop Isaac and say, don't go down to Egypt. Because when Abraham went to Egypt, Hagar came out of it, and today we are struggling with all these Hagar nation and the Ishmael nation. So the point is this: when there are negative things happening in your life, it's a pattern but not a curse. That's what I'm trying to bring out. It's a pattern, not a curse. Not a generational curse, ancestral curse, forbidden curse, family curse. No, the moment you become a child of God, that is broken. That was the purpose of Jesus. He had to break it. But the pattern, it is your responsibility to deal with the pattern. The bad traits which form an evil family pattern could be promiscuity. Promiscuity. Most of the evil pattern we have in our family, in families, some of them is polygamous family, polygamy, anger, domestic violence, marital mismatch, divorce, unstable marriages, having children out of wedlock, terminal disease, untimely death, delay in life. These are evil patterns. They are not curses. but they are being controlled by demonic entity. That is if you are a child of God. If you are not a child of God, you are the devil. Know what you are talking about.